Welcome to Every LA Talks with Los Angeles real estate agent Matthias Baker Mazzucci.
All right. Well, listen, if you're a landlord in LA, you can't afford missing what we are about to talk about. If you're thinking about repositioning your capital out of tenants, toilets, and trash, as we say, into something a little bit more passive, into commercial, you've got to learn about triple nets. We have a series of videos, so if you missed any of them, please go back and check them out, because right now we're going to talk about how to underwrite a triple net deal. So Tyler, who is a triple net expert, is going to guide us. He's going to take us on this journey. So Tyler, just quickly, a triple net is essentially you're purchasing, a building and land, or sometimes just land, where the tenant is a commercial tenant like McDonald's or Starbucks, et cetera, and they are taking care of everything, and you have minimal responsibility or almost zero responsibility, right?
That's correct.
Perfect. Now, you obviously do your own underwriting, so I'm assuming you're offering your clients, good product. But the question is, even how do you, when you look at an underwriting, what's your process when you look at a triple net deal?
Great question, Matthias. For triple net underwriting, there's really three main things that you need to look at if you're a buyer.
Okay.
Who's the tenant? What does the lease look like?
Okay.
And where is the property, right?
Okay.
At the end of the day, you're still buying real estate. So
Right.
you're buying real estate in LA, there's going to be certain intrinsic value there that you might not find in certain other areas of the country. And that'll affect property value. But tenant, lease, location. So
Got it. Okay, let's talk about lease. Is a lease length. What is the average lease length for a triple net that you're seeing?
for new construction product, typically right now, you're between 15 and 20 years. So super long-term leases.
Got it. 15 and 20 years leases. Now, let's say I buy a triple net that has brand new construction as a 20-year lease, but I decide to sell it when there's 5 years left. Now, should the buyer be concerned that now there's only 5 years left on the lease?
It's a great question. And this comes up all the time. If you look on market right now for triple net properties, it's not all new construction, right? You're going to see the 15-year-old properties that have 5 years left on the lease. Your underwriting changes a lot because they've got 5 years left on the lease. There's more risk inherently as a landlord, because in theory, the tenant could leave in 5 years. So at that point, you need to understand, number one, how has the tenant been performing for the first 10 or 15 years of the lease? What do their sales look like? Is it trending up or is it going down? If sales are trending down and you buy a 5-year lease, it's a gamble. If they're shooting up and you're getting it for a discounted price because it only has 5 years left on the lease, you could be getting a bargain. So
that makes perfect sense. Now, let's talk about the tenant, since we mentioned the tenant. Me as a buyer, what type of information is the tenant sharing with me? I mean, in the case of publicly traded company, I believe I have access to their books, unless they are Enron and they have cooked up their books. But apart from that, you have access to pretty much all their information, right? Cash reserves, all of that.
Correct. So like you said, those publicly traded companies, you can look online and basically find anything you want about the company. If it's not publicly traded, if it's a smaller company, or if it's owned by a franchisee of that company, typically what is required in their leases is that they report store sales to the landlord and that they also provide entity level financials. And what entity level financials means is if that tenant has 50 locations, they have to show you how all 50 locations are performing, not just the one that you're buying. So you can see the greater picture of them as a business. And if you want to invest and partner with them as a landlord.
So because some franchisee, I know personally on the residential side, I have some clients who are franchisee who maybe own like 100 locations. So these people are like, they have a proven business and they've done it, for a long time. So that is some worth. Now, what type of obligations do they have to show you? Can they say, I'm sorry, we are not showing anything, we're not showing our financials? I mean, is that, I know it's maybe a silly question, but how.
No. I think it's a great question. And to answer it, it all goes back to the lease, right? So every lease is going to be a little bit different depending on when it was drafted and signed. What's typical is that in the lease, it'll state black and white, your tenant is required to provide you with this, and this, this many times a year. Typically, it'll be once a quarter or once a year. Upon landlord request, they have to provide you with this financial information.
Right. That makes sense. Okay, perfect. So you have some rights that are baked into the contract, so they can say like, no, we are a nationally traded company, we're not sharing anything with you, or we are, a publicly traded company or whatever. Obviously, they have to provide that kind of information, which is great. So one more thing that I want to talk about. We'll talk about these. So underwriting these triple net deals. We talked about the lease length, and we talked about the credit worthiness of the tenant. Let me ask you a question. What about rental increase? I mean, on a 30-year lease, are they baked in 5 years or CPI +3? Like how are the increase worked in the lease usually?
Yeah, it's another great question. Typical, again, for new construction products, so anything that's been built called the last 5 years, what is standard in the triple net space, depending on the tenant, is that you're going to have those built-in rent increases every 5 years. Okay. Typically, it's going to be 10%. Sometimes you'll see 7.5% rent increases every 5 years, 8%. Okay. It's all in the lease. Every tenant is a little bit different, but bumps every 5 years are standard. Some tenants will do annual rent increases of 1% or 2% each year. It just depends on the tenant and their specific lease.
That makes perfect sense. All right, if you watch this and you're thinking about making a move, reach out to us, because whether you're buying or selling in LA, we are just a call away. I'm getting better at my sign up. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because we got a lot more videos with great content coming. If you're interested in Los Angeles real estate, and in this case, nationwide real estate, we are here for you. All right, we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Thank you for watching. To find out more, visit everyla.com.